Voice of God, Volume 1, page 188, Vedic Religion. Antidote to the disease of civilization. People are caught between the pulls of groups having two different views. Those of us who say that people should follow the ways of Shastra pull on one side. The other group of reformers, which says that Shastra must be changed, pull on another side. Because of modern education, people have read only what has been said in praise of changes called by the name of reforms right from their early years. Despite education being of this kind, customs have not completely disappeared. Our Shastra Dharmas, which have come through aeons, have a little presence in every home and in the society. The lingering taste of these customs and modern education pull the people in opposite directions. All are aware that there is no satisfaction in the civilized way of life now adopted by them. All are more certainly aware that the peace they had experienced in the olden days is no more there. It is also clearly seen that despite the notion that there is more money today, poverty has not gone. Although it is said food grains have been produced surplus to our requirement, all are happy. Wherever one sees, there is anxiety and fear. The old house with thatched roof has now become storage building. There were then 4 or 5 vessels, boxes made of palmyra bark and containers made out of a dried large-sized vegetable in every home. Today, lots of things fill the home. All these have come because of the new civilized way of life. Even so, it is clear that the peace which was experienced then is absent today. In the heart of hearts, they want to live according to the old way of life and be free from worries. But they do not have the courage to give up the new civilization and the glory of reform. They are unable to go either way and feel embarrassed. I shall give an example for this state, which is neither here nor there. In almost all homes, there is the picture of Gandhi and my picture. But because of what Gandhi has said, most of them do not have the courage to go for widow remarriage, nor because of what I say, they have the courage to have tough. Poor people. They do not know where things stand and are dancing for both. Firmness is required. Strong attachment to Shastra and courage are very necessary. In matters relating to Shastra, even if a little relaxation is allowed, at the end, it will result in observing only what is practically convenient. Some people come to me and ask me in good faith, Dharma Shastra were codified by the rishis. You are also like the rishis. Therefore, please change the Shastra to suit the times. Their view is that, keeping in view the present state, some of the orthodox customs should be removed just as weeds are removed from fields. If today I remove a few things thinking them to be like weeds, sometime later another person may remove certain other customs thinking them to be like weeds. If this process goes on, the distinction between the crop and the weed will disappear and the whole field will be lost. All of us must understand that we are not following the Dharma Shastra because the rishis had said something as their personal opinion. We are following these because the rishis have codified these rules based on the Vedas, which are ordained by Ishvara and which are eternal. We should make efforts to follow them as they are and have no authority to change them. It should not be thought that in the present times it is not possible at all to follow the Shastra. If the secular civilization that has grown at commercial speed is given up and wants are reduced, nobody need give up the orthodox customs and run after money. When we do not run after money, there will be plenty of time for meditation on God. Bhagavat Smaranam. satisfaction, peace, and prosperity will come on their own. Money is not needed to carry on with the religious observances daily. There is no need to perform ostentatious pujas. Dried tulasi leaves and bilva leaves are enough for pujas. Whatever food we take can be offered as nevedyam. One may ask, marriage is also part of the observance of Shastra. A lot of money is spent on marriages. But none of the ostentatious things now done is necessary for a marriage conducted according to Shastra. In particular, there is no approval in the Shastra for dowry, which forms a major part of the expenses. If, for rituals based on Shastra, it is said that money is required, then it would mean that our religion is only for the rich. The fact is, it is not at all so. Of the four objectives of life, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, we are after Kama only, and we are running about to find the money for having it. This is to be changed, and we should strive for Moksha through Dharma. If lifestyle is made simple, there is no need to run after money. It will then be possible to follow Dharma. We can also attain the bliss of Moksha that is achieved through Dharma. Religion and society. Some of the rules of religion create inconvenience in the practical life of secular activities. Some create difficulties in social life. Reformers mention these reasons and want to change the Shastra. These reformers have no knowledge of the fundamentals of our Dharma Shastra and their purpose. When they talk of social life, they do not refer to the spiritual side of it. They refer to the new ways of politics, sciences, changes in trade and commerce, economics and fashion as social life. All these are subject to several changes. If a society has for its goal only a secular life, the rules for social life may change in relation to it. But our Shastra have not viewed social life as merely secular. They are of the spirit, and the purpose of the Shastra is for the man to get released from samsara, worldly life. Politics, intellectual literature, economics, etc. will change when they are merely secular. But in our culture, nothing is merely secular, with the result that government, social life, intellectual sciences, economics, arts, etc. are all aids to spiritual development. Spiritual truths never change. The rules that the Shastra have laid down to keep the changing society firmly in the changeless truth are also changeless. If the goal is merely secular, we can from time to time change what is needed for social life. But when the good of the soul is kept as the goal and consistent with it, rules are made for secular life. The rules cannot be changed. To nourish a grievance that the rules of Dharma Shastra are inconsistent with practical secular life is itself not in order. This is because the Dharma Shastra do not consider the happiness of the worldly life as important. They spell out the means to attain the happiness of the other world, even if difficulties have to be experienced in this world. Therefore, it is not fair to say that they should be changed from the point of view of worldly life. It is no use blaming the reformers. Our education system is the cause of their line of thinking. In other countries, there is no conflict between religion and the system of education. Unfortunately, in our country, the schools which were started in British times took shape without any link with religion. Everybody had to rush to this education for the sake of living. Since right from childhood, there was deep involvement in foreign methods without any connection with our own Shastra, there was no scope of attachment to or faith in ancient Shastra. Since the purpose of Shastra was not known, people began thinking that the rules of Shastra could be changed indiscriminately. From the beginning, our children are fed with such statements as Puranas or a bundle of lies, and Shastras help develop blind faith. How can they develop attraction to our religious observances and disciplines? Right from childhood, their belief in God and religion should be developed. Children should be put and trained in the company of highly disciplined people to follow the religious observances without fail and live a life of high quality. The faith should be created in them that the literature which the rishis have given out of their experience are the ones which show the way to self development. The faith should be inculcated that the rishis gave the Shastras only for regulating the social life and worldly happiness for the purpose of attaining self development. Only then the understanding will grow in the country that the rules of religion are higher than the happiness born out of routine activities of day to day life. Headache. Is the remedy beheading? These days, right from top leaders up to the man in the street, everybody is asking, what is the need for jati? I thought, why should I too not speak about this, and therefore started speaking. After deep thought, it is clear that the existence of a division like this is good for everybody. It is clear that both for the society as a whole to advance and also for individuals to attain purity of mind and spiritual redemption, this arrangement is of great help. This need not be accepted just because I say it. This need not also be accepted because of what the Shastras have said. We may be branded as backward, who are the enemies of progress. But all people accept that there was one whose goal was that somehow this country should advance. Everybody believes that he had vowed to remove the differences and blind beliefs prevailing in the country and make the backward class people equal to others. Such a Gandhi had wholeheartedly approved of Varnashrama Dharma and praised it. I am saying this thinking that this will persuade you to accept the good features in this arrangement. Gandhi has written an essay, My Varnashrama Dharma. In this essay, he says, this Varnashrama is inherent in human nature. It is born with the person. Hinduism has simply reduced it to a science, a Shastra. This arrangement only divided the functions into 4 and prescribed duties but did not confer any privileges. It is quite contrary to the high culture of Hindu religion for someone to claim superiority or suppress another or putting down. He has also spoken highly in praise of Varnashrama by saying that it is there to enable each to discipline himself and live parsimoniously without wasting the energy of the society. My quarrel is with untouchability because I consider it an evil, but since Varnashrama speaks the truth like science, I support it. My view is that Varnashrama Dharma, which divides the functions on the basis of birth of a person, is very healthy for the society. This is not an arrangement made out of narrow thinking. My view is that this arrangement gives an ordinary worker the same status as an intellectual. He speaks thus in support more than the Sanatanist, a traditional orthodox person. If it is said that even so, in much of what he did, he discarded the differences observed in following the orthodox observances, and he supported intermarriage too. The reason for this is he had come to think, although Varnadharma is very good, today it is in a state of decay. It is not possible hereafter to rejuvenate it. just as clinging to the chaff when the substance is lost, when the distribution of functions according to Varnadharma is no more there, it is a great mistake to hold on to external distinctions. I do not think that way. If an arrangement which is like the backbone to our religion is to be given up because it is beyond cure, there is no need for the mud, nor is there need for Madhadipati, head of a mud. When Dharma, which is the main root, is gone, to carry on with an establishment, calling myself a Madhacharya, religious teacher, would only amount to exploitation of the society. If, in fact, the old arrangement is gone, there is no need for the mud. It has to be disbanded. But that this situation is not yet such is what I believe. I do not think either that within a short time it will get destroyed totally. I do believe that at least now, if we wake up and do what is needed with all our might, it would be possible to give new life to it and put it back on its feet. Let the other divisions of functions get mixed up in whatever manner. Veda Adhyayanam, which is the life breath of everything, is still taking place in the traditional way in one or two Veda Padashalas here and there. There is enthusiastic response to the efforts now being made to provide adequate facilities and spread Veda Vidya. A large number of students are joining. There is definitely a small group to ensure that there is such a thing as Veda in the next generation. My duty is to strive to see that this group survives and enlarge it. If this one is there, a way will emerge to rectify the mistakes caused by the confusion in other Varnas. Even if all Brahmins cannot do it, if some Brahmins stick to the traditional ways, it will act as a force to influence others to do their dharmas. Gandhi too supported Varnashrama Dharma like me. But he gave up thinking that in practice it had become bad and that it could not be reformed. But I think that the fire of this Dharma is not completely extinguished, and it should be possible to increase the fire by blowing the few sparks that are there. This is because when we see the history of our country over the last 50 years, we can see that by giving up this Dharma, our society is only experiencing great difficulties. When we look at the fate of the other great civilization which did not follow Varna Dharma, we find the same thing. The main reason for the decline of traditional industries is the coming of machines and big factories, mills. When life is simple, machine does not have much place. If people live a simple life by producing things by handicraft, we can protect the old setup. Things have to be produced by human labor. Giant machines should not be there. Life must be simple. Ostentation beyond minimum requirements should be avoided. Gandhi was also saying these things tirelessly. These views of his are conducive to ensuring the continuation of Varna Dharma. But now, planning by the government and people's attitude are all opposed to the idea of simple living and cottage industries. But praising Gandhi by words has not been given up. This is because everyone believes the fact that keeping in view the good of the society, he functioned as a reformer and was not an obstinate Sanatani who was sticking to Shastra because they are old. That is why I thought that if I talk to you about what a person who was viewed from a neutral position had to say about Varnashrama Dharma, it may impress you well. Because it is thought that Jati creates inequality which leads to mutual hostility, there is a general opposition to Jati. I have said that really speaking, there is no superiority or inferiority. Those who oppose Jati say whether in reality there is superiority, inferiority or not, since Such a feeling has developed. Quarrels have resulted from it. Can't you see? Because we do not want these quarrels, we say no to Jati. But talking like this is like beheading because there is headache. If quarrels come up as a headache to the old dharmas, the treatment would be to explain the real position softly and in a proper manner and persistently and cure the headache and keep the dharma healthy. If it is said that quarrels have cropped up and therefore we will kill the fundamental dharma, it is unreasonable. Simply because a particular thing has potential for creating quarrels, it is said that a very thing should be destroyed. Nothing can function in the world. Whatever you consider in the world, there will be opposing parties. Difference of opinion will crop up. So, can we go on destroying one after another? Presently, there are two things which give rise to quarrels. One in language and the other is ideology. Because of this, can it be said that there is no need for language and ideology? Anything like the language dispute that has cropped up in this country is not to be seen anywhere. We have seen that the quarrel on account of Jati cannot hold a candle to the wild dance of the language dispute. There is quarrel between Tamils and Telugus. There is fight for rights with the Hindi people. There is quarrel between Bengalis and Biharis, between Kannadiga and Marathi, between English and Hindi all over the country. Language quarrels have not stopped with mere exchange of words but grown to physical fights. Quarrels come up because there are several languages. We will kill all languages. We will all become dumb. Is this the remedy? There is another thing. There is no limit to the disputes about the ideology on the basis of which the government should be formed and the country ruled. The two major divisions in this are communism and capitalism, which have become a cause of major conflict which has spread over several continents. When we read the newspapers daily, we find that even small countries are not free from this conflict. Even without a world war, thousands of people are needlessly dying every day in so many countries. Ideology is also at the center of the conflict, not only between communism and capitalism, but also monarchy and democracy, military dictatorship, etc. This ideology is responsible too for the death of large number of people. Generally, everybody claims that his own ideology is democratic, but the differences between them are so much that these conflicts result. Supposing it is said that because there are conflicts, there should be no ideology, how could this be? After all, governments are formed by those who have a certain ideology. If it is said that there is no need for a political ideology, would it not amount to saying that government is not required at all? In such a case, should we be without a government and be like animals? If it is accepted that because there are linguistic disputes, language is not required, because there is conflict between ideologies, government is not required. It can also be accepted that because there are quarrels on account of jatis, there should be no jati and religion. If this logic is extended, all these quarrels are there because we are all here. So we ourselves. Paramacharya is unable to talk further and he laughs. Therefore, the remedy is to solve the disputes and not to destroy what is fundamental to everything. Now, there is loud talk against Jati. But come elections, only Jati becomes important. All parties are conducting vote bank politics on the basis of Jati. The cry, no Jati in reality means a particular Jati should not be there. In fact, to encourage the Jatis, which are so only for namesake, out of selfish interest and without any social responsibility, is not at all fair. To allot a specific job to a group to be carried on traditionally for the welfare of the society is only good for all. In particular, for the good of all, life there should always be a group which by means of Shabdas and highest truth is engaged in Veda Adhyanam as a lifetime job and following the ritual observances laid down in Vedas. Although the spokesmen of the new civilization say that there is inferiority complex because of jati, I say that this dharma has got to be here if this thinking about superiority, inferiority is to go completely. We are born like this, alright, this is God's will. This work which we have to do has been ordained by Him. We will do this and we will contribute whatever we can to the welfare of the society. If another person has another hereditary job to do, that too has been ordained by God. Let each of us do what has come to us and dedicate it to the Lord. If such an attitude is developed, there is no scope for thinking that a particular job is superior and another is inferior. Is it not? We have to endeavor to develop this attitude. We have to propagate it too. The best effort and propaganda is for us to live that life and demonstrate it to others, in which case there is no need for oral propaganda. If due to the jati arrangement inequality had set in, that is because of the mistake of not properly understanding the fundamental truth. We should resolve to follow this dharma faultlessly and nurture it so that this mistake also will not be there. Now, when jati dharma is gone, what we see is that people are always thinking of money in the name of finding a living. Till about 70 to 75 years back, no one thought like this of a living. Only duty was remembered. If finding a living is the only objective, then all others will have to feel jealous of those who have more money or higher status and quarrel too. When each has a particular duty, there is no superiority or inferiority. But if the objective is to earn more money or acquire higher status, then the person who accumulates more money is superior and the other inferior. The person in high position is superior and others inferior. This kind of differences will keep cropping up. In other words, the inequality that did not result from Varna Dharma has come about because Varna Dharma is gone. Therefore, even if all jatis are abolished and the attendant quarrels disappear, class conflicts will definitely arise. This is what we see and experience practically. I am saying that the old Dharma should be saved from decline only because I want that all people should live like children of God, free from inequality, without quarrels, with love and unity, mutual respect and mutual help, and create peace and happiness everywhere. If, in pursuit of this goal, we put one step forward, God will extend His hand. I pray to Him. Hare Hare Shankara Jai Jai Shankara.